Hello friends, hope y'all are doing well. This is Dimple again welcoming y'all to my next tutorial in this series. In this tutorial, we will go through different Android versions and see through important feature enhancements done in every version. Every one of us use Android phones. Most of us will be in Marshmallow or Nougat version by now, and some of us will be in Oreo. Android phones have become part and parcel of our lives. Android is now a historically big operating system. Android development started in the year 2008 and it's almost been 10 years for now, and Google has come out with 15 different versions of Android. And there is vast improvement in its features from the time of its inception. But do we exactly know the changes or improvements done from one version of Android to another? Need not worry if the answer is no. Come on, let's go through the important improvements done from one version of Android to another. There are actually lots and lots of changes done, but I have sorted out and picked up only the very important enhancements done. So let's get started with the first version of Android. Android 1.0 was the first commercial version of the software, also known as Alpha, which was released on September 23, 2008. Let's see some of the features introduced in this first version. Web browsers to include multiple pages. So web browser support was added where you could zoom HTML and XHTML web pages, and also multiple pages would show up as windows. Camera support. Camera support was also added. However, this version lacked the option to change camera resolutions and qualities, etc. Google Search was also added, which helped users to search internet and other phone applications which are installed. Google Contact helped in synchronizing with People application, and Google Calendar helped in synchronizing with Calendar application. Apart from these, there were other apps like alarm clock, calculator, dialer, home screen launcher, pictures, gallery, and settings for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support added. So alpha was the basic version, and all the basic features like gallery, calendar, contacts, camera, all of these support was added in this version itself. So the next version was Android version 1.1, which was also known as beta, and it was released on Feb 9, 2009. This was initially released for HTC Dream only. This update resolved bugs, changed the Android API, and added number of features. Let's go through some of them. Google Maps. Google Maps support was added to obtain the details and reviews available when user searches for business on map. The next one was ability to save attachment in messages. So when we message someone, we have different options like to attach the contact card or images or audio, video, etc. And the support for all these was added in the beta update. Support added for marquee in system layout. This means you can scroll up and down the system layout. Longer in-call screen timeout default when using speakerphone. So when we are on speaker mode, the call screen timeout was increased, and there was also ability to show or hide the dial pad. So the next Android version 1.5 was also known as Cupcake, released on April 27, 2009. This was first released to officially use a code name based on desert item. Henceforth, all the Android versions will be named after a desert. So in Cupcake, there were new features and UI enhancements added. So Cupcake is based on Linux kernel 2.6.27, and some of the features are text predictions, video recording and playback in MPEG-4 and 3GP formats, copy and paste features in web browser where you had an ability to copy or paste images or text in the web browser, auto rotation option where you could auto rotate your phone screen, ability to upload videos on YouTube. So these were some of the important features that took place in Cupcake. The fourth Android version was Android version 1.6, also named as Donut, released on September 15th, 2009. And some of the features go like this. So, multilingual speech synthesis engine to allow any Android application to speak a string of text. Second feature was ability for users to select multiple photos for deletion. So until the last three versions of Android, user had to select single pic at a time if they wanted to delete. But in Donut, this feature was added where users can select multiple photos for deletion at once. Then Donut included updated technology support for CDMA 802.1x VPNs and text-to-speech engine. So the major change in Donut was text-to-speech engine support was added. So the next Android version was Eclair, which included versions 2.0 and 2.1. And I'm summarizing the features from both of them in this slide. So Eclair was released on October 26, 2009, and some of its features are as follows. Ability to tap a contact's photo and select to call, SMS, or email the person. So when we select a contact on our phone, we get different options, right? Whether we need to call a person, SMS, or send an email. So that option was made available in Eclair. And motion event class was enhanced to track multiple touch events. Another feature was improved typing speed on virtual keyboard with smarter dictionary that learns word from usage and includes contact name as suggestions. So it used to learn all the words used so far and it would suggest them. Addition of live wallpapers was another feature introduced in Eclair. Live wallpaper allowed animation of home screen background images to show movements. We have seen wallpapers with background images moving, right? So that animation part was added in Eclair again. Ability to search all saved SMS and MMS messages. So apart from these features, there was one more feature added, which was oldest messages would be automatically deleted if a defined limit was reached. So if a defined limit was reached, that messages would automatically be deleted. We need not explicitly delete them. And it also included other features like there were numerous camera feature enhancements, improved typing speed, minor API changes, bug fixes, and framework behavioral changes. So all of them were included in Eclair. So till now we saw 5 different versions of Android, and out of which the first version alpha was released in the year 2008. After that, the next 4 versions beta, Cupcake, Donut, Eclair, all of them were released in the same year 2009. The next Android version is 2.2, which was named as Froyo, and it was released on May 20th, 2010. So Froyo was based on Linux kernel 2.6.32, and Froyo was designed keeping speed, memory, and performance optimizations as one of their main aims. Other features included the USB tethering and Wi-Fi hotspot functionality was made available, and there was option to disable data access over mobile network. So you could off your mobile data, and support for numeric and alphanumeric passwords. So support for both numeric and alphanumeric passwords was not there in the previous versions of Androids, and this feature was introduced in Froyo. And another feature was quick switching between multiple keyboard languages and their dictionaries. So you could switch between various languages of your interest. So these were some of the features introduced in Froyo. The next update was Gingerbread. It was released in 2 versions, 2.3 and 2.3.3, and it was released on December 6th, 2010. Gingerbread was updated with user interface with increased simplicity and speed. Let's go through some of the features. Um, it had new audio effects such as reverb, equalization, headphone, virtualization, and bass boost. So these are some of the extra audio effects that was introduced in Gingerbread. And new download manager was also introduced. So download manager gave users easy access to any file which was downloaded from browser, email, and any other application. So user could easily access all these files. And there was support for multiple cameras on the device. So the front camera support was provided in Gingerbread. So all of us are crazy about taking selfies, and we have to remember that the support for front camera came in Android version Gingerbread. And the other features were it had improved battery efficiencies and improved Gmail application, and it also supported many native sensors like gyroscopes and barometers. Next came Honeycomb, and it had two Android versions, 3.0 and 3.2. It was released on February 22nd, 2011. Let's go through some of its features. First one was optimized tablet support with new holographic user interface. So whatever Android versions we have discussed till now was supported only on mobile phones. But support for tablet for the first time was introduced in Honeycomb. But unfortunately, this feature was removed in the following year with the version 4.2. Next feature was simplified multitasking. So if you tap on recent apps in status bar, it allowed users to see snapshots of the task underway, and they had this ability to quickly jump from one app to another. This feature was supported in Honeycomb. Next was new incognito mode. So whatever incognito window we are using now was again introduced from Honeycomb onwards. It also supported external keyboards and pointing devices. It also supported connectivity for USB accessories. Honeycomb had improved hardware support, including optimizations for wide range of tablets. Next arrived IcecreamSandwich, which contained Android version 4.0 and 4.0.4. It was released on October 19th, 2011. Some of its features were as follows. Integrated screenshot capture. So taking screenshot of the screen on phone was introduced from IcecreamSandwich onwards. Ability to access applications directly from the lock screen. So some of the applications like camera and all we access directly from the lock screen. So that ability or that feature was again introduced from IcecreamSandwich onwards. Face unlock was another important feature introduced in IcecreamSandwich. So face unlock feature allowed users to unlock handsets using facial recognition software. Then, it included the ability to shut down applications from recent app list with a swipe. So in Honeycomb, we saw Honeycomb just listed the recent apps that were used so that we could traverse from one app to another app. But in IcecreamSandwich, we had the ability to even close that application by just swiping it. Another feature introduced in IcecreamSandwich was Android Beam. Android Beam was a near field communication feature which allowed rapid short range exchange of web bookmarks, contact information, directions, YouTube videos, and other data. IcecreamSandwich also included smoother screen rotation and other stability improvements. So the next update was Jellybean, including Android versions 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3. It was released on June 27, 2012. Jellybean was based on Linux kernel 3.0.31. So the primary aim when developing Jellybean was to improve the functionality and performance of the user interface. Jellybean also provided CPU input boost. The capacity of CPU was increased. It also provided one finger gestures to expand or collapse the notifications. So all the notifications with finger gestures you could either expand or collapse. This feature was introduced in Jellybean. And also ability to turn off notification on an application specific basis. For every application you had the capability of turning off the notification. Jellybean also introduced accessibility improvements like to magnify the entire screen, pan and zoom with two fingers. And it also included speech output and gesture mode navigation for blind users. So these come under accessibility improvements. It also had new download notifications, which now shows the percentage and estimated time remaining for active application downloads. Jellybean also included new clock application with built-in world clock, stopwatch and timer. So all the stopwatch and timer, whatever we are using today, was introduced during Jellybean days. Also, Jellybean introduced group messaging feature. So these are some of the major updates in Jellybean. So the next update was Kitkat, including Android version 4.4. It was released on September 3rd, 2013. The major feature in Kitkat was Android runtime introduction. So Android runtime was introduced as the application runtime environment, replacing Dalvik Virtual Machine. So Dalvik Virtual Machine was replaced by Android runtime. Kitkat also provided Wi-Fi and mobile data activity indicators, which are moved to quick settings. Another feature Kitkat provided was storage access framework. So storage access framework included APIs which allowed apps to retrieve files in a consistent manner. So as a part of framework, new system file picker allowed user to access files from various sources. Next feature was wireless printing capability. And another important feature which was introduced as a part of KitKat release was initial release of Android Wear platform for smartwatches. So the support for smartwatches was again given in KK. After KitKat came Lollipop with Android version 5.0 to 5.1. It was released on November 12, 2014. So some of the features of Lollipop are Android runtime with ahead of time compilation and improved garbage collection. So all the unused applications or resources or data, all of them were deleted so that we could free the memory space. Lollipop provided support for 64-bit CPUs. And Lollipop also provided additional support for 15 new languages. Lollipop supported flashlight style application which was working on devices with camera flash. So whatever camera flash we are using today, this support was provided from Lollipop onwards. Another major important feature introduced in Lollipop was block-based over-the-air updates for new devices. So over-the-air OTA is a mechanism by which all the OEMs remotely update the system partition of the device. So this was another major change done from Lollipop onwards. Another important feature introduced in Lollipop was device protection. So for example, if a device is lost or stolen, it will remain locked until the owner signs into Google account with which he had initially signed in. So he has to sign in with the same Google account to operate the phone. So even if the device is reset to factory settings, you have to sign in with the Google account to continue. So these are some of the features introduced in Lollipop. So the next Android update was Marshmallow, which included Android version 6.0. It was released on 28th May 2015. Marshmallow included many changes with respect to UI and system performance when compared to the previous versions of Android. So let's go through some of its features. The first feature, biometric fingerprint support. So this was an extra advanced security option where user can unlock their device with their fingerprints. So if you want a device with fingerprint unlockers, then buy a device with Marshmallow OS on it. You could double tap the power button to open your camera application. Marshmallow also included changes in the RAM manager. So in Lollipop, the total amount of RAM used and the RAM used by every application was shown in detail. Marshmallow has brought this change in RAM Manager where users can see which app is slowing the device and which application is using minimum, average and maximum amount of RAM. Also, the DOS mode was introduced in Marshmallow. Alphabetically accessible vertical application drawer. So all your apps, you could access them vertically in Marshmallow from Marshmallow onwards. Then frequently used applications. So in Marshmallow, it is easy for users to find their recently used required apps. So there is this bar at the top of the screen which contains 4 frequently used apps. So if user needs to navigate to the frequently used apps, he can just go to the top of the screen and find them. This feature was not available in Lollipop. So these are some of the updates in Marshmallow. After Marshmallow came Nougat with Android version 7.0. It was released on March 9th, 2016. Let's go through some of the major features introduced in Nougat. Multi-window support, which supports floating apps on desktop layout. So this was a unique feature which supports floating apps on desktop layout. You could use multiple apps at a time. Redesign notification shared featuring instant access to certain settings. Ability to add your medical information on your lock screen. So this is again an interesting update in Nougat where all the medical information could be added on the lock screen. So this was potential life-saving feature in Nougat. You could add medical information on lock screen itself in case of emergency. So you can go to settings. Under settings, you can select emergency information option, fill all the details you want to reveal during emergency cases, and you can also add an emergency contact number for a good cause. So this information will be on the lock screen and it will be available to others when they open the emergency dialer. This is again interesting feature. Another feature was new JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler, making for 75% faster app installations and 50% reduction in compiled code size. So all the app installations was made faster because of JIT compiler. Circular app icon support. And one more important feature was Nougat contained another system partition which gets updated when not in use, allowing for seamless system updates. So apart from these, there are other features like N brings with it more quick settings when you slide the notification panel down. So when you slide the notification panel down, you can have 9 different toggles in single quick setting screen, and you can access most of the toggles by swiping to the right of the screen. You also have the option to edit which toggle needs to be on the screen. Coming to recent apps, before versions of Androids contained recent apps only in one dimension, but in Nougat it's different. So if you click on the recent apps, it will list all the recent apps. If you double click on the recent app button when you are in home screen, the last used application will be displayed. But if you double click on the recent apps, when you are already there in your last viewed application, it will take you to the app you had opened just before it. One but last recent apps. So all these were the features included in Nougat, and the display of CPU usage feature was removed from the settings. So one feature was removed, that was display of CPU usage. It is no longer supported in Nougat. The next Android update after Nougat was Oreo with Android version 8.0, and it was released on March 21st, 2017. The major update in Oreo was Project Treble. So Project Treble was the biggest change to the foundations of Android till date. It's a modular architecture that makes it easier and faster for hardware makers to deliver their Android updates. Then, the other features included are as follows. Um, Oreo included redesigned quick settings and settings with white background and respectively black and accent font color. It included automatic light and dark themes. It also included notification channel. So lots of changes regarding notification improvements were done, like notification channels, notification dots, notification snoozing, and notification shade for multicolors. So notifications can be snoozed from Oreo onwards. By default it will be the snooze time will be 15 minutes, and you can expand the snooze time for every notification up to 1 hour. That's maximum. Next was Google's safe browsing verification, so that users can remain protected against malicious websites. Next feature is granting permission for each and every source. So until now, the previous versions of Androids, how was it working was like this. So once user has enabled unknown sources, he could successfully download applications from any site, be it internet or from APK or through Bluetooth or using ES File Explorer. But in O, you have to grant permission for each and every source individually. So this was again one of the major changes in Oreo, and it has 2 times faster boot time when compared to other version of Android. So this was all about the improvements done in each version of Android. To summarize, we'll go through some of the important features we have discussed till now. So in Gingerbread, the front camera was introduced. The support for tablets was provided from Honeycomb onwards. Flashlight support was provided in Lollipop. Fingerprint support was provided in Marshmallow. And Project Treble was introduced in Oreo. Floating window support was provided in Nougat. Face unlock feature was provided in IcecreamSandwich. And smart watches were supported in Kitkat. Hope you all enjoyed this session. Thanks everyone for watching. See you all in my next session. Until then, take care. Bye.